This is New Haven Canal too. ये बोर्ड कुछ 10 मिनट में यहाँ से निकलेगी, जो कि पूरा 60 मिनट्स का गाइडेड टूर रहेगा.
Hello and welcome on board to all many new passengers here at Copenhagen Canal Tours. You are now going on a grand tour through the Copenhagen Inner Harbour. My name is Pernille and I'll be your guide for today. And our captain of today, his name is Martin. During this tour, we're going to sail under a lot of low bridges, so especially those of you placed outside, please always remain seated and mind your head under every single bridge. Har vi passagerer med på båden i dag, der godt kunne tænke sig at høre turen guidet på dansk, så stik venligst en arm i vejret nu. Nein. Haben wir Passagieren an Bord, die gerne diese Tour auf Deutsch hören möchten, dann nehmen Sie jetzt bitte einen Arm hoch. Ja, dann werde ich natürlich auch auf Deutsch guiden. Hallo und herzlich willkommen an Bord hier bei Copenhagen Canal Tours. Heute geht es um eine Tour durch die Kopenhagener Innenhafen. Mein Name Sir, in the back, please don't. Yes, thank you. Be careful. We are right now in the lovely area of Nyhavn. Nyhavn here was created 350 years ago to connect the Copenhagen Inner Harbour with the King's New Square, and that's come to today. Back then, this area was mostly famous for many merchant sailors' clubs, and the ladies of the night that went with them. But luckily, you don't find a lot of that here anymore today. Instead, most of you find tourists, as well as Danes, who enjoy to go here during summertime to drink a cold beer. On your left-hand side, we're now going to sail past the big glass building, and this is the Royal Playhouse. The Playhouse over here opened in the year 2008 with the play Hamlet by Shakespeare, and the building was designed by the Danish architect Ludvig Alexander. Also, now that they're in Portugal in the front of this area, the Inferno is now on your right-hand side. This is the Copenhagen Opera House. The opera over here was actually a gift from the 8 Mast Foundation. It opened in the year 2005 and was designed by the Danish architect David Larsen. This is really a huge building that has 14 stories with 5 of their places. Also on your right-hand side, we're now going to have quite an interesting area. This is called Vesthaven, and all the way up until the 1980s, this was a major industrial area, and here you actually find the largest workplace in all of Denmark, because here you have the massive Copenhagen shipyard. However, in the last few years, everything has changed here. These old abandoned and industrial halls have now become cultural, and inside you'll find everything from concert venues, a table arena, student housing, and the massively popular Copenhagen Street Food Market that opens every week during summertime. Auf ihrer Idee, aber in den letzten paar Jahren hat sich hier sehr vieles verändert, weil die Kultur ist reingezogen. In diesem Gebiet eine Industriehalle sind, in denen heute verschiedene Konzerthallen, eine Paintball-Arena, Studienwohnung und auch schon sehr populäre Ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. You are now going to greet the most famous little lady in all of Denmark, and that is of course the Little Mermaid sitting on her rock in front of us now and soon on your right-hand side. Meine Damen und Herren, hier kommt die berühmteste kleine Frau Dänemarks und das ist natürlich die kleine Meerjungfrau und sie sitzt jetzt schön auf ihrer rechten Seite jetzt. Oh, there are quite a lot of tourists taking photos of the Little Mermaid right now, so everybody, do your best smile because you're going to be in a lot of tourist photos now. The Little Mermaid, she's been sitting on her rock since 1913, and back then she was a gift from the brewer Pat Jacobsen, the one who owns the Carlsberg Brewery, because he fell in love with his character when he saw the ballet about her at the Royal Theatre back in the days. He was the sculptor of Ingvar Eriksson who created her, and he used his life as a model for her. Damals, da war sie ein Geschenk von dem Brauer Karl Jacobsen. Und er verliebte sich in die kleine Meerjungfrau, als er Ballett damals da an der Königlichen Theatergruppe hat. Der Bildhauer Ingvar Eriksson hat dann wirklich Kultur kreiert und seine Frau war auch sein Model dafür. The neighborhood was created in 1618 by Alfred Krishna IV. Back then, he wanted to create an area here in Copenhagen that looked like Amsterdam in the hopes of getting a lot of rich Dutch immigrants to settle here in Copenhagen. Unfortunately, the rich Dutchmen never came, and instead, Christianshavn ended up becoming a normal Danish workers' area. And today, the area is especially famous for its many pretty houseboats, but it also has a lot of very beautiful buildings that are now listed. Wir werden gleich in So the Chinatown Canal in a few moments. I will have to make a very short break since it is a residential area, so the neighbors can rest their ears for a little while. But then you can also have time to just enjoy the beautiful scenery, and I'll be back to you on the other side of the canal. There's just one building in particular I'd like to mention before we sail in there that I hope you'll all notice. There'll be a beautiful church spire coming up on your left-hand side. This belongs to our Savior's Church. What makes this church unique is that it has a golden staircase that goes all around the spire to the top. Now, on top of the building, you'll see a golden globe and a sculpture of Jesus wearing Renaissance clothing, so very modern during that time of year. The Danish Stock Exchange. This beautiful building was completed in 1640. It's especially famous for its iron of four intertwined dragon tails. The frame was designed by the world-famous Danish designer Arne Jacobsen and was also called one of his masterpieces. It was completed here in 1978. To your right, you see a small kayak bar, especially popular during summertime, where you can rent kayaks and stand-up paddleboards from. Von rechts sehen Sie einen kleinen Kajakbar, der ist besonders populär im Sommer, weil von hier können Sie Kayaks und Stand-up paddleboards mieten. This is some of the cleanest harbor water in the entire world, and so clean that you can actually swim in these waters without getting sick. People usually do so during summertime for obvious reasons, but after you, very brave souls are actually daring to do it here in the winter season as well, where winter bathing has become increasingly popular in Copenhagen. Just about ferries going back and forth between Denmark and Sweden. However, as the Øresund Bridge opened in the year 2000 connecting our two countries, not a lot of people use the ferries anymore, so they remade the standard into a restaurant. Auf Ihrer linken Seite sehen Sie In just a few moments we are going to sail into Nyhavn, probably the most famous area in all of Copenhagen, of course famous for the many beautiful tall buildings. Here in Nyhavn, the world-famous Danish fairy tale author Hans Christian Andersen lived for 20 years of his life on 3 different islands. And all boats have been named after his fairy tale, so right now you're actually sailing with the Little Mermaid. Wir werden gleich in Nyhavn hineinfahren, das berühmteste Viertel ganz Kopenhagens, insbesondere berühmt für diesen schönen bunten Gebäuden. In the entire tour, and ladies and gentlemen, we're really not joking. This bridge is so low that you need to make sure you go all the way down in your seats and make sure your heads go further down than the roof of the boat. Jetzt kommt die niedrigste Brücke am ganzen Tour. Die Nyhavn-Brücke, bleiben Sie deswegen ganz sitzen und seien Sie bitte sehr vorsichtig unter diese Brücke. So pay attention everybody, we're sailing under the bridge now. If you just boarded the boat 5 minutes ago, just remain seated and your journey will continue at 10 minutes past 1. So at 10 minutes past 1 we continue. Wenn Ihre Reise anfängt an der Haltestelle Adelsrand vor 5 Minuten, dann bleiben Sie einfach sitzen und um 1:10 Uhr, also in 10 Minuten, dann fahren wir dann wieder weiter. However, if your journey began here in Nyhavn 1 hour ago, and this was all that we had for you for today, I hope that you had a great time staying with us and wish you all a very Merry Christmas and hope you'll find somewhere nice and warm.